So we moved from island life. Now we're outside.
We
It's good.
are. This is a really nice change. I'm enjoying this change in weather.
So today we've got 7 smart questions to ask kind of yourself before right sizing in the greater Sacramento area. And if you've been quietly wondering whether it's time to take a move, you're not alone. It's pretty normal. And what we're seeing is most people in the Sacramento area, when they are thinking about right sizing, it's not about downsizing. It's about simplifying and kind of, smoothing things out.
Right.
Right.
Yes. And, I've been doing this for 25 years. You've been doing it for quite a bit of time now, too. What we have seen in our experience is that a lot of the smoothest moves have come when people are clear before they start the process on what they want their outcome to be. Sometimes it's an evolution, and that's fine too, but I think really having some clarity first makes the process a lot more smooth and also more enjoyable, because it can be stressful. And, I think we need to remember that a lot of times these changes are not about square footage. It's really just about like a change in lifestyle and having your home fit your new lifestyle.
Yeah, that's great. So question 1.
Yes.
Like, is your current home still supporting your lifestyle?
Yeah. And, we see this a lot, like if there's stairs in the house or the yard is really big. A lot of times there's just unused rooms, and especially having that second story, especially if you're where you sleep at night, where your bedroom is not the same floor as where your washer and dryer are, and you're constantly going up and down, like
shuttling everything.
Yes.
Even just having, even if you're maybe just getting tired of going up and downstairs, and your primary bedroom is upstairs, and maybe the kids have left the house, and it's just it's just us, and why are we going up and downstairs all the time? It could be a bonus space, but having the primary on the main floor at a minimum is pretty handy.
Yeah. And I think the other thing a lot of people talk about is the pool. Like, they love the pool. When the kids were growing up, they would have all the friends over, their friends would come hang out too. But now, like, that just doesn't happen anymore, and they're tired of taking care of the pool. So, do you want to talk about your mom? I think you and your mom are kind of going through some of this, with the, like, does your current home still support your lifestyle?
Sure. I think, watching as our parents age, I see my mom is still getting around great. She's, driving and all that stuff still, but that the house just becomes, it's so big, and it just becomes kind of a burden to, between the yard work and going up and down and trying to manage keeping the thing cool and hot, and, even just the complicated systems in an aging home.
Well, and I would say,
size.
In addition, like, just her being on like a levee road and now having to take like kind of a long, scary drive by herself, often in the fog,
right,
and no one there to even do the drive with her.
The other thing I think we sometimes don't talk about in lifestyle, we think about how the house lives. Well, what about like the neighbors? What if there was a time in your life when you had the kids, and like everybody's hanging out in the court, and you're having little parties and stuff all the time, and then 20 years later, like, people kind of moved on. They don't have the kids anymore. Their kids are gone. And maybe your friend group has kind of fizzled.
Yeah.
Not by any fault of your own or anything. It's just like life has
Everybody
moved
else
on.
kind of moved away with left
and
you
so
there.
Maybe part of right sizing is finding a new community.
Right.
And even when we show those 55 plus communities, and it always seemed like when we were younger, like, oh, 55 plus is so
now
old.
we're there.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, this looks like fun.
All right. Question 2.
Yeah.
Do you want to be closer to family? And I think, all of us now are at the age where our kids are getting married, having children, or maybe they just went away to college and then never moved back. Like, one of our daughters moved to San Diego, and you know what? I can't blame her. It's beautiful. We love to go visit her. And, but I miss having her here. And I have talked to Troy about, maybe we should move to San Diego, and probably not going to happen to us, but we understand like why that is such a draw. And we have helped people that need to be closer to kids.
Yeah.
And we just helped someone recently relocate from Central California. Do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, she had her husband had passed, and all of a sudden she realized she was by herself in a town where, she still has some friends around, but most of her time was spent commuting the long distance to go see where all of her family lives, which was in kind of the Roseville area. And so we helped her, find a good place. We found one of these 55 plus communities in Lincoln, and Lincoln Hills is beautiful and really was a good fit for her.
Right.
And I mean, we're currently working on another client that's, a mother of good friends of ours, and they're trying to look for a place to have her move from out of state, so that she can be closer. And, her husband had passed recently too. So sometimes that's a catalyst for the change, is when, things like that happen.
Yeah. And with the mom that we helped to move to Lincoln Hills, one of the things that she's really liked is that she hasn't really used the clubhouse feature so much, but what she's really loved is just her little neighborhood has such a community. She's playing bunco. She's going to tea at a friend's house. They do go out to have drinks together sometimes. So it's just that whole community feeling that has really helped her make the adjustment. And then plus now having her daughter within a 15-minute drive and lots of her grandkids, it's been like a really fun change. It was definitely scary. It took her about a year to make the transition, which we understand, but now she's really glad she's on the other side of it.
Totally.
So
question 3 is upkeep.
Yes. Does your home require more upkeep than you want? And we've touched a little bit about like pool maintenance, but also yard maintenance and, the HVAC system. Your house was brand new when you bought it 20 years ago, but now your HVAC is aging. Your water heater, if you haven't replaced it yet, you will be soon. Your kitchen was once really cool and fun, and now you're looking at the oak cabinets and the white tile and just like, I would love to have something different. Why have I never updated this? And but you don't want to do that now to the house you're in because you don't see yourself staying there very long. And I went through this with my parents. My parents had a house actually on a half acre that was on a hillside, and they loved it. I have 4 sisters. We loved swimming in the pool in the backyard. My dad had a garden that he would do on the weekend, and we all got to help drag dirt up in the red wagon to get it to where he needed, and helped, pick the corn and all that. And we loved it. But by the time my youngest sister was in her, I think she was in her early 20s, my parents said, no more, we are done. We don't care. And they moved to a condo. And I remember thinking, what are you doing? Like, how do you dare give up this house? But honestly, the condo's been great. I think it's like 1,600 square feet. It's 2 bedrooms and a den. But it has a nice kitchen and a big enough eating area that even when there is like 15 of us, we can still make even their smaller home
still pack
work.
It in.
Yeah. And actually their new condo has a pool and it has a large clubhouse. So if we want to do bigger gatherings with extended family, we can. And to me, that was just a great example of like how they were able to give up everything they didn't like anymore about their family home and create a new family home somewhere in a spot that fit for them, which I think is really great.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Marie Kondo, like it served its purpose. It had its time. The garden that you tended for years and years, and it was a sense of pride. Maybe you get to a spot in life where it doesn't feel like this isn't what I want to be doing anymore.
Right.
And it's okay. It doesn't mean that it wasn't good or great for you at one time. It means that maybe it's time to move on and find the next thing that sparks joy.
And you know what? I love my parents' new situation. I actually feel very much at peace when I'm there because there's not a giant list of things that like they need to do or that I need to help them with when I get there. We can just enjoy being together.
Yeah.
So
question 4. Is your equity working for you?
Yeah. So again, a lot of you have bought homes 20 years ago, and in this area, but actually in a lot of areas, your home is appreciated quite a bit. And it's great. And now you can take that equity and maybe use it to either relocate somewhere, downsize and invest it in something else, or maybe actually get yourself a second home. Like, I gave the example of our daughter being in San Diego. One option would be to sell our house and get something
go from
smaller
like
here.
One large home to two smaller homes.
Yeah. So there's different ways different options for you with the equity you have in your home. So, and question 5.
Yeah.
Are you avoiding the conversation?
Yes, always.
Yes, and I do like to have this conversation because
I like to avoid it.
Yeah, two of our kids are out of the area and we miss them. And so I do talk a lot about like, what options do we have?
And I'll just say emotional hesitation is normal, even if I may not be, but the feelings are normal for sure. And it's important to acknowledge that emotional side, that it's just like, it's so much change. Sometimes it feels like really heavy, like it's a big lift.
Yeah. And, it's hard, like letting go can feel emotional. And I know I did talk about my parents letting go of their house. It was hard. Like I had a sister that lived there with me. It was tough to see them sell that house and lose that. But I realize now that I didn't lose her because they sold the house. And I know it can be emotional, but I think it's important to share that even we have those tough things that we go through, that we're human, we walk through them. So I did want to acknowledge that because, sometimes we do have these very deep connections to a house.
Clearly, yes.
But it doesn't mean letting the house go means you lose all that.
Right. No, you get to keep the memories.
Yes.
You just move on from the house.
Yes. So we definitely did want to talk about that because we both think it's a really important piece of thinking about what a move can feel like for you, not just look like, but feel like.
Yes. Just like my mom, I know she's struggling with that, that she doesn't want to move because all the ties. My dad built the house. It's like there's a whole thing.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's understandable. It's understandable.
And grief is normal with that. That's can be part of the process.
Sure.
Yes.
For sure.
So, okay, we'll move on to question 6. Now we've gone through the emotional part.
So question 6 is, do you know what your next home would look like?
Yeah.
Right? This is maybe we go from the emotional side into the funner side, like the forward looking, the dreaming, the like, what could it look like? And it doesn't even have to be smaller. Like it could be same size. It may be, but maybe it's not 2 stories. Maybe it's single story. Maybe it's newer. Maybe it's older. And one of the things you want to do is make it your own and fix something up.
Right.
Like
or
it
maybe
doesn't
you do
have
want
to be
the project.
brand new. Yeah. Maybe you have time now in your life. This is why it's right sizing is right for you,
right?
Not for everybody.
Yes.
So that's the important piece. So it's, single story HOA, like in the city, in the rural, maybe you want to move to the city. Maybe you want to move to the country.
Yeah, we did.
It's pretty nice. Although sometimes I miss the city.
Yes.
For a short moment. But okay, number 7.
Yes.
Running the numbers.
Yes. So,
put your accountant hat on.
Yes. I also have an accounting degree. So, there can be tax consequences. There are capital gains that you should think about. So we do always recommend that you do talk to your tax advisor about some of these things, or all of these things actually, before you do consider a move, just to make sure you understand what the implications could be of a move. But also look into Prop 19. And if you haven't heard of Prop 19, it was passed in 2020.
It's a California thing.
Yes,
for
it is.
People that are,
Thank
for those
you.
of you that are following us faithfully from out of state.
Yes.
This is a California. So move to California.
Yes.
We can set you up.
Yes. So Prop 19 had 2 good benefits from it. The first one is that if you actually transfer your home to one of your children or your grandchild, then you can provide them they can, I guess, assume your assessed tax value, for if your value of your home now is your assessed value up to $1 million. So I will say, let's say your assessed value of your home is $500K, because maybe you bought it like slightly less, but there's a small increase in your assessed value each year. So let's say your assessed value is $500K and your house is now worth like $1.45 million. If you transfer the house to your child or grandchild, they can still have a property tax value based on the $500,000, which is great. And then also, and more people I think are familiar with this, if you are moving anywhere in California, you can also transfer your tax base. Now, prior to 2020, when Proposition 19 passed, it was only eligible in certain counties within California, but now it's throughout California. And so again, it's your assessed value.
A nice feature. Yeah.
Yes, it is. So let's say your assessed value, I'm going to give some easy numbers here, is $225K. You're selling your house for $700,000. That's considered your replacement value. And the next house you found, you're actually going to pay $800,000 for. The way that would work is your new assessed value would be your $225,000. And then the difference between your replacement value and what you paid for your new house. So the 800,000 minus 700 is 100. I'm trying to make this math simple. Yes. So your new assessed value is $325,000. So it's your original 225 plus the increase in the net value of your home. The 100 gets you to 325. Yeah. And maybe I should add some notes about how I did this math when we post this.
We'll put some in the background, the little numbers and the quadratic equation flowing by.
Yes. But again, we are not tax professionals, so please talk to somebody.
This is only for entertainment purposes. Yes. That was entertaining.
So anyways, I hope these 7 questions gave you something to think about. And if you have questions or you want to talk through this with us, just reach out. We understand this is a process. It's not something you're going to get done in 30, 60, 90 days. It could be a year. It could be 5 years. We're happy to walk this journey with you. Just give us a call.